Yeah, synchronize the sound. Okay, so tonight we have Willy. Fireplace is over here. And we're having a fireside chat. Who's been catching some exotic fish off of Key Biscayne. So he's going to tell us how and share the experience with us. Right? Go for it.
Absolutely. What do you want to know?
Well, tell us what you did, where you went, what bait you used,
And
how big was the fish,
and why, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, so basically a group of friends, total of 6. We went with Captain Mike Puller. Some of you may know him. He's a second, third generation captain out of Key Biscayne, Grand Marina. His company called Fishing Experience, I think, and he has a very nice boat. I had been with him a couple of years ago when I was just a passenger, and Mike is a very nice guy, and he has a 46, 47 foot big boat, fishing boat, tower, 13, 15 foot beam, and really nice boat, refurbished. And so he got his business from his father back maybe 20 years ago. And so a couple of friends, we went out on end of February, 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 hours charter trip. And so the group was no experienced fishers, so just sailors, scuba divers, people nothing to do with fishing, just wanted to see some action. And we went out with Mike. We had a very good mate that day. Mates are really important on set charter boats, I can tell you. And our mate was really very nice and helpful. He taught us some stuff. What do you want to know, right? So we went out with Mike 7 o'clock. It's a good thing in Key Biscayne is, as you know, you can buy live bait, which is pretty important for sail fishing. And Mike that day he bought goggle eyes, pretty expensive. I think $5 per goggle eye. Goggle eyes, but really nice goggle eyes. And then we stopped to fish for bait. Sardines, pinfish, things like that. That was fun already for some of our group because they never had a sabiki or something like that, and we got the live wells full, and then we went off, and it was condition-wise, it was a quiet day, not too windy, nothing rowdy or choppy, pretty stable, not too many boats out. It was during the week. And Mike's explained us a little bit what he's looking. He's looking for birds, he's looking for color change, and he's looking for current and wind and everything. And we said yes.
How deep did he go?
We understand this all, and let's see what's happening. I cannot tell you how deep it was with Mike, but
very deep.
Yeah, he was close to Forbey Rocks lighthouse, but he went up and down. So he patrolled, zigzagging up and down some lines, and then first 1-2 hours nothing happened. He saw some boats, and these captains, as you know, they're all radioing each other. How is the day? What you're catching? Slow, medium, and it was pretty slow. But then he decided to put the kites out because it was windy. So I think that was a good decision. So he put 2 kites out. I never did a kite fishing before, and you need to know how to do it because so he put 2 kites out, and every kite has probably 3 or 4 lines.
Yeah, 3 lines.
3 lines, and has a bobber on.
Did he anchor?
Did he anchor? No anchoring. So he was trolling. I think he was not drifting, he was trolling. So he puts 2 kites out, 3 lines, and there we were sitting, and was good, and nothing happened. And And then within maybe 20 minutes later, we hooked with the kite a bigger hammerhead far away. It was difficult to reel in. We got it close, but not too close, and then he went off. And then while one was fighting the hammerhead, the sailfish came, and the sailfish were probably a bigger pool, because 1, 2, and then fighting these two sailfish on two different kites. The third and the fourth almost simultaneously came in. So within 20, 25, 30 minutes, we had 4 sailfish on the hook.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And that was... sorry?
You had what?
4 sailfish. So obviously, so they are jumping, they are running, they are moving. Mike had to move the boat. The mate was busy telling us what to do, how to reel, what not to do.
4 at the same time were hooked?
No, we had 2.
2 at the same time?
We had
2 at the same
2. We brought them in, and I tell you later how they handle sailfish. And then once we had them off, the other 2 came in, more or less. So when you reel them in, they are jumping, they are running, and they are trying to get off the hook. And they are far away because the line from the kite is pretty long. And you reel, and you need to set the hook pretty clear, because they are jumping and they can get away, right? So the mate helped us to set the hook correctly and tell us what to do. And and then they came close to the boat, and then they're jumping still. And so we could not touch them because the mate told us he needs to do this, and the fish cannot get out of the water because you damage the fish. And then you need to get the hook off, which is delicate, and keep it in the water, that the gills are with water and air and so on. And he managed this, and then the other 2 were in the same fashion, so 7 foot more or less, or bigger, 50, 60 pounds probably, and pretty nice fish. So the others, they made a real pirouette, they come out and then they turn. It's like dancing in front of you.
Pirouette.
Pretty
Yeah,
funny,
I like that.
pretty funny. And so obviously my buddies were excited. Everybody got the fish. I got the hammerhead, and then at the end we had a bigger kingfish still, and so six fish from our wish list. Was pretty amazing day. And so the other boats near to us, they had also hits, but they did not land the fish. So we were pretty lucky that day that we had a successful day, right, with Mike.
Good guide and a good mate, like you said.
Good mate.
What?
Good guide and a good mate.
Yeah, and the mate really is, I forgot his name, but he was just very, very pleasant. And then so that was my first experience with sailfish. Really, they are beautiful fish, right? Beautiful, color-wise, and I mean, when they come close, you see the shadow, you see how the fish is trying to get away, but the blue and the green and the yellow is pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
So that was my experience with Captain Mike Fuller. And then recently, maybe 3 weeks ago, I went on my own boat with a friend, Jeff, who has some experience with sailfish. And we went out of Boca Chica with my boat. We went through out of Black Point through Boca Chica out to Long Reef, between Long Reef and the Pacific Reef. And so the live bait for sailfish is mainly for him, for me, and for fishers is a live ballyhoo. So you catch live ballyhoos either on a sabiki or on a ballyhoo net, which is pretty nice. Ballyhoo net, you don't have to do a lot of work. You have 20 in one shot, and that's it.
That's the hula hoop, right?
Yeah.
That's what you put behind and then chum it and wait, and then in one shot you can get 10 or 15, which is pretty nice, no? Because otherwise, one by one, and ballyhoos on the sabiki, they make a lot of dirt and tangle. So Jeff was positive about the day that the conditions are good. Don't ask me why. But he said, look, we go out, we go for the color change, we see the current. I think it was outgoing, and it was south wind. It was not too choppy, a lot of wheat. So we had to manage the wheat, because when you have the wheat out, when you have the lines out and the wheat messing up everything. And then, we had 2 lines out usually, a shorter and a longer line with live ballyhoo on 20 mono and 40 leader, long leader, and a 5 to 6, 7 circle hook. And so we trolled with the current and with the wind, and I was watching one line and he was watching the other one, and then suddenly I saw a shadow, and I thought a strange shadow, maybe a turtle, but that was, in fact, it was Sailfish. So he was just snapping the ballyhoo, and then the line went off, and then the action started. And what Jeff told me before is, when we have a sailfish on, we need to move the boat, because the sailfish will try to run around and will try to go under the boat or under the motor. So I was holding the fish, and Jeff was, I forgot to mention, so we had 2 lines out. The sailfish hit my line, and Jeff tried to move the boat, but then he felt that he has also hit. So as we say, we have 2 sailfish. Wow, great, 2 sailfish in one shot. So he reeled in, but in fact, what happened was that this sailfish, he hit both lines.
He was hungry.
So the shorter and the longer line. So we had 2 hooks on the same sailfish.
Oh my God.
So that was really funny. And it was good. It was good. I tell you later why. And so the main action was that Jeff had to move the boat. Really, it was really a challenge to move the boat. So that's why probably you can never land a sailfish on your own, alone, when you're alone in the boat. So it was quite difficult to get him in, but we managed. We figured out that he had 2 hooks. One hook got off. So Jeff's hook got off, and I had it on my hook. And then when he tried to release the hook, my hook, when we had it closed, he saw that the sailfish already had another hook in its mouth, not from us, but from another catch probably.
Wow.
So
He didn't learn his lesson.
double hooked, and the sailfish was already hooked before. And it was a nice fish. It was same color and very nice fish. So he made it off, and we were very happy, and we had a good catch. And
How big would you say?
it was 7 foot long,
7 foot?
45, not too big, 40, 45, and what?
Big enough.
Big enough for, sailfish that size is nice. And we had later, maybe 10 minutes later, we had another bite, but it got off because he explained me why. Probably I did something wrong, probably not putting line down, the rod down, and then set the hook. And the drag was probably too hard, too close. But so that was a great experience. Long reef, 130 feet, 135 foot depth. And what I learned also, once you get the bite, you need to look immediately on your depth finder to see where you are, what depth. Because if it's 130, then they are around in this area, and they are around in this depth. And you keep going in that depth. You don't go then to 200, you stay in this depth. And it was great experience and
So you were trolling live belly.
trolling live belly. Yeah. You can drift also, what I understood, but that day he suggested we were trolling, and due to the weed line which was coming in and coming out and constantly tangling our line, it was a challenge to keep the line free floating with all the weed. So
That's what's drawing the bait fish and the sailfish.
exactly, but I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, my first
You
sailfish.
sound like an old pro.
Probably far from this, but my buddy Jeff, I think he made it possible because you need to know where to troll, in what direction, and you need to read the watercolor. So why you are going to 135? But he told me that the most fishes he catched was between 100 and 200 feet, not in 500. Not in 75.
Yeah,
So 100 to 200.
Right outside the reefs.
Yeah. So, and swordfish or bigger fish, so they are.
Any other? You have any other fish? I mean, any other species of fish like dolphin or
That day, the same day?
on that day?
No. We were no. That
So
was
you rode sailfish on the valley.
exactly. It was on our head. It's sailfish day. So.
Yeah.
No, when we got the